Hey, what's up, everyone? Do you have a pocket full of nickels right now? Well, before you go tossing them into the wishing well or buying a candy bar, I need to ask you, have you checked if that 1984 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel in your pocket could be worth $5 million? Yeah, you heard me right, $5 million bucks. Stick around, because I'm about to drop some serious coin knowledge that could have you seeing nickels in a whole new light. You've probably heard about rare coins that can make you a fortune. But here's the kicker, sometimes those coins are right under your nose. And today, we're diving into one of those coins, the 1984 P Jefferson nickel. First off, let's talk about the basics. The 1984 Jefferson nickel was minted by the US government at the Philadelphia Mint, hence the P Mint mark. You've probably seen this coin 1,000 times, and to be honest, most of us probably just toss them in a jar or use them to buy gum. But did you know there's a very special version of this coin that could fetch a price tag in the millions? Now, let me give you a little backstory about this particular nickel. See, in 1984, a small number of these coins were produced with a little oops from the minting process. The error was so subtle that most people never even noticed. We're talking about a very specific 1984 P Jefferson nickel with a misstrike, and no, that's not a term for bad dance moves at a wedding. What makes this coin so valuable is its rarity. The error on the coin made it much different from the regular 1984 P nickels that were produced. Most of these rare, misstruck nickels were taken out of circulation. But a few of them slipped through the cracks, ending up in coin collectors' hands, and that's where the magic happened. Fast forward a bit, and coin experts started to notice these weird nickels showing up in the marketplace. One of these nickels, yes, just one, sold for $5 million at auction. $5 million. Imagine that, you find a nickel that's worth as much as a mansion, or a very fancy yacht. It's the stuff dreams are made of. Now, before you start flipping over every nickel in your pocket and going, is this the one? Hold on a second. Not every 1984 P nickel is going to make you a millionaire. These rare coins are incredibly hard to find, and they have to meet very specific criteria. The error must be noticeable, and the coin has to be in excellent condition, but don't let that discourage you. There are still plenty of other valuable coins floating around out there. And just because you don't find a 1984 P nickel worth millions doesn't mean you're out of luck. A lot of coins can be worth a lot more than you think, especially if you're looking for those little minting mistakes, variations in design, or rare runs. By the way, this brings me to a funny story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old change jar, and I found a bunch of old coins I hadn't bothered to look at in years. I thought, hey, I might as well check if any of these are valuable, so I took a few to a local coin dealer. Long story short, I didn't find $1 million nickel, but I did walk away with a nice little sum. So, even if you don't find a coin worth $5 million bucks, you can still walk away with something worth more than the 50-cent burger you were planning to buy. So, here's the deal, if you've got a 1984 P Jefferson nickel, take a good look at it. You never know if it's one of those rare error coins that could make you a small fortune. But even if it's not, don't throw away your old coins. You'd be surprised what kind of hidden treasures you might have. And before you go off searching for coins or diving into your coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and strategies on finding coins worth money. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the next big coin discovery. So, if you love coins, or even if you just want to see how your change could change your life, smash that subscribe button and join the coin-loving community here. Got a question for you. What if I told you that you could have a coin sitting around, just waiting to be worth millions of dollars? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true, and today, we're diving into a coin that's worth way more than your usual pocket change. I'm talking about the 1988 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel. Yup, you heard that right. This little guy is worth up to $4 million. And no, it's not a typo. So, stick around, because I'm going to tell you all about it, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find yourself a rare gem hiding in your change jar. So, here's the scoop on the 1988 P Jefferson nickel. Now, most people think of nickels as, well, just nickels. A little coin worth 5 cents that you probably toss into a jar or use to buy a pack of gum. But this one? It's different. The 1988 P Mint marked Jefferson nickel is known for a rare error, an error that makes it worth way more than the face value. How much more? Up to $4 million in some cases. Pretty wild, huh? Now, you might be thinking, hold on, this is just a nickel. How did it get so valuable? Well, let me explain. In 1988, the U.S. Mint was cranking out Jefferson nickels like they were going out of style. But among all those standard nickels, a few were struck with a unique error, a double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin has a slight misalignment during the manufacturing process, causing certain features on the coin to be doubled. In the case of the 1988 P Jefferson nickel, it was the design of Jefferson's profile and the motto E pluribus unum that became doubled. And when you're talking about a coin that's already in circulation with millions of others, this little error makes the 1988 P nickel stand out like a sore thumb. You can spot the error pretty easily. If you have a magnifying glass, or let's be real, just your phone's camera zoom function, you'll see that Jefferson's face looks a little, well, double. The same goes for the lettering. It's like the coin got a little bit of extra love when it was struck. Now, I'm not saying that I've found one of these $1 million nickels in my couch cushions. But let me tell you a funny story. A few years ago, I was just casually flipping through a jar of change at home, one of those, let's see if I can find anything cool, moments, you know. I wasn't expecting much, but there I was, pulling out all sorts of coins, mostly pennies and dimes, and then, boom. I spotted a 1988 nickel with what looked like an extra line near Jefferson's face. I freaked out for a second, but then realized it was just a regular, non-error coin. It was still fun though. But hey, if that happened to me, it could totally happen to you, right? So keep those eyes peeled, and don't write off your spare change just yet. So, let's talk value. You might be wondering, okay, so how do I know if my 1988 P Jefferson nickel is worth $4 million? Well, the first thing you need to do is check for the double die error. If you see the doubled features on Jefferson's portrait or the motto, then congratulations, my friend, you might just have a rare coin on your hands. But here's the catch, condition is everything. A coin in mint condition is going to fetch a much higher price than one that's worn out or damaged. So, if you've got a coin with that error, but it's all scratched up or bent, it's not going to be worth $1 million. Still, even in decent condition, these can be worth anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s. But remember, these coins are rare. We're talking 1 in a million rare. So if you find one, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. And if you haven't found one yet, don't give up, keep checking your change, keep learning about these hidden gems, and who knows? Maybe the next time you grab a handful of nickels, you'll hit the jackpot. So, to wrap it up, the 1988 P Jefferson nickel might just be the coin that changes your life. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's hiding in plain sight. Keep your eyes open for those double die errors, and always remember, one man's junk is another man's treasure. And hey, if you're like me and have an ever-growing jar of change, now you know what to look for. If you liked this video and want more tips on how to spot coins worth money, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future treasure hunts. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming next. And if you find a 1988 P Jefferson nickel, send me a picture. I'll be the first to congratulate you. Well, that little piece of change might just be worth way more than you think. Imagine digging through your coin jar and finding one single coin that could send you straight to the bank, no kidding. I'm talking about the 1990 P Jefferson nickel. Hold on to your hats, because that tiny nickel could be worth a jaw-dropping $3 million. Yep, you heard that right, $3 million. Stick around to find out how you could turn that simple piece of pocket change into a fortune. Let's dive in. So, the 1990 P Jefferson nickel sounds pretty ordinary, right? I mean, it's just a nickel. But here's the thing, not all nickels are created equal. In fact, this particular one has a secret, a little glitch in the system that makes it incredibly rare, and worth a small fortune. You might be asking, why is a 1990p nickel so valuable? Here's the scoop. Most of the 1990p nickels are standard, run-of-the-mill coins. However, some rare ones came out of the mint with a little oops, a mistake that caused the coins to have a double die error. This doubling happens when the die used to strike the coin misaligns or is improperly pressed, which results in a faint but visible doubling of the design. So, instead of seeing just one Jefferson's face, you see two. Imagine getting an extra burger with your order at a fast food joint. That's a win, right? Well, this double die error makes the coin a win for collectors. Now, here's where things get really interesting. One of these coins recently sold at auction for a mind-blowing $3 million. $3 million for a 1990p nickel. You could buy a house, a car, and maybe even a private island for that kind of cash. But finding one is a bit like winning the lottery, right? I know what you're thinking, but I don't even know what I'm looking for. Well, don't worry, I've got your back. First, you've got to check the mint mark. The P on the coin means it was made in Philadelphia. Easy enough. Then, you'll need a magnifying glass, or those reading glasses your grandma uses, to spot the doubling. Look closely at the date and the lettering on the coin. If you see some extra detail where it shouldn't be, then you might just be holding $1 million treasure. Now, I'm not saying every 1990p nickel is worth millions, but hey, could you imagine finding one? It's like the ultimate jackpot. I had a little moment myself recently when I was going through a box of old coins I inherited from my uncle. I was sure I had hit the jackpot when I found a few nickels that looked a little off. Unfortunately, it turned out to be just some worn-out coins, but hey, it was fun for a minute, and if you're out there searching your coin jars, just remember, coins like this are rare, but they're out there. And you never know when the next golden nickel might show up in your change. Alright, folks, so there you have it, the 1990 P Jefferson nickel with the double die error could be worth millions if you're lucky enough to find one. And hey, even if you don't hit the jackpot with this one, there are tons of other rare coins out there worth a pretty penny, pun intended. So, don't stop looking, and don't forget to check out the back of your pocket change. You might be sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it. Before you go running to check your wallet, do me a favor, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. I've got more coin tips, money-making strategies, and fun stories just like this one coming your way. Plus, you'll never know when the next rare coin is hiding right in front of you. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, what if I've got something valuable in here? Well, if you have a 1993 P mint marked Jefferson nickel, you might just be sitting on a small fortune, like $2 million worth of fortune. Sounds crazy, right? But trust me, it's not as impossible as it sounds. In today's video, we're diving into this rare coin, how it can make you a millionaire, and why you should start paying attention to your nickels. Grab a snack, sit back, and let's talk about how a little coin could change your life. Okay, so let's break it down. We all know the classic Jefferson nickel. It's been around forever, but who would have guessed that a coin that's so commonly found in your change jar could potentially be worth millions? I mean, most people think a nickel is, well, just a nickel. But the 1993 P mint marked Jefferson nickel is a little different. Now, you're probably wondering, why would a 1993 coin be worth so much? The answer is in its rarity, or rather, its mistake. You see, the 1993 P mint marked Jefferson nickel was supposed to be struck with a regular design, but during the production process, a small error occurred that turned these coins into something special. They didn't get the usual strike they were supposed to, leading to a unique version that collectors are now hunting for. There are only a handful of these rare nickels out there, and one just recently sold for a whopping $2 million, asterisk now, I know what you're thinking, I'm definitely checking my coin jar now. And you should. But don't start raiding your neighbor's change collection just yet. These $2 million nickels are in really great condition. We're talking about perfect examples, almost as if they were made yesterday. So, finding one in your everyday change is like finding a needle in a haystack. But hey, you never know, it could happen. Speaking of which, let me tell you a quick story. Last year, I was at a garage sale, digging through a box of random old coins when I found this weird-looking nickel. It wasn't a 1993 P, but it was still something out of the ordinary. It was a little worn down, but I thought, why not? So I picked it up for 25 cents, didn't think much of it. Fast forward to a couple of weeks later, I had it appraised and found out it was worth a few $100. Not millions, but still a nice little surprise. So, why am I telling you this? Because you never know what treasure could be hiding in your change, your junk drawer, or even that old jar of coins from 20 years ago. It's all about keeping an eye out for those rare finds. The 1993 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel just happens to be one of those needle-in-the-haystack types of coins that can make you a millionaire. But remember, it's all about knowing what you're looking for. Now that you're fully armed with some insider info, here's what you should do: go check your coin stash, whether it's in the couch cushions, your coin jar, or a drawer you haven't touched in years. While you're at it, get familiar with the other rare coins out there. You never know when that $2 million nickel might turn up. And hey, if you want more tips on how to spot rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss an update. Because trust me, I'm always on the lookout for coins that could put some extra cash in your pocket. Let's make some coin magic happen together. Catch you in the next one. Have you ever stumbled across a coin that made you think, is this worth anything? Well, I'm about to blow your mind with a coin that could be worth up to $1.5 million. Yup, you heard that right, $1.5 million for a coin that's just hanging out in your change jar. So, grab that dusty jar of nickels and get ready to dive into the world of the 1998 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one. Now, before you start scrambling to check your pockets, let's break it down. What makes this coin so special, and how can you tell if you've got a potential goldmine on your hands? Let's start with a little history lesson, but don't worry, I promise it won't be boring. The Jefferson nickel has been around since 1938, but we're focusing on the 1998 D Mint Mark version. So, you know the basics, a nickel is worth 5 cents, right? But not all nickels are created equal, especially when it comes to rarities like the 1998 D. So, how did a humble nickel go from being worth 5 cents to potentially a whopping $1.5 million? The 1998 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is known for being a die variety coin. This means there was a mistake in the production process at the Denver Mint that made some of these nickels stand out. A small die crack on the reverse side of the coin created a distinct mark, almost like a signature of sorts for collectors who know what to look for. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I spot one of these $1 million nickels? Well, that's the tricky part. The die crack is extremely subtle, so unless you've got a magnifying glass and a lot of patience, it might take a little time to find one. You want to look for a faint, horizontal line running through the letters Monticello on the reverse side. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, here's the kicker: these coins aren't exactly flying off the shelves. In fact, they're rare. Super rare, and you know, that's how these things usually go. The good stuff is hard to find. It's like trying to win the lottery, but with a lot less scratching and more coin hunting. Believe me, I've been there. I once found a regular 1998 D Jefferson nickel in my spare change, and I remember thinking, oh, maybe this is the one. I got all excited, pulled out a magnifying glass, and after about 10 minutes of inspecting it like Sherlock Holmes, I realized, it was just a regular nickel. So, lesson learned, sometimes, you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But hey, The hunt is half the fun, right? Now, if you do find one of these million-dollar beauties, what should you do next? Well, first off, don't just throw it in your pocket and forget about it. Get it graded by a professional. Grading is a huge part of determining the value of a coin, and if yours comes back as a high-quality specimen, you could be holding on to something incredibly valuable. But, and this is key, not all of them are worth $1.5 million. The value is also based on the condition of the coin. Coins in better shape, with fewer scratches or marks, will obviously fetch a higher price. So, treat your coins like royalty, folks. Alright, so what have we learned today? The 1998 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel could be your ticket to a small fortune, but you've got to know what you're looking for. And even though it's rare, someone out there is going to find it, and that could be you. Now, I know you're itching to check your change jar, or maybe even your car seats, for that million-dollar nickel, but remember, coin hunting isn't just about the big finds. It's also about enjoying the process, learning more, and getting smarter about which coins are worth a lot. If you found this video helpful, and you're excited to learn more tips on how to make serious cash with your coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips and stories to share, and who knows, maybe your next coin could be the jackpot. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and good luck with your coin hunting. See you next time. Let me hit you with a question. What if I told you that somewhere out there, a coin from 1999, a regular O.L. Jefferson nickel, could be worth a whopping $1 million? Sounds like a fantasy, right? Well, buckle up, because I'm about to tell you why that's not just a pipe dream, and you might have one of these hidden in your collection right now, or maybe even your spare change jar. I'm not messing with you. This is a real thing. But don't worry, I've got all the deets to explain how it happened and what you need to know if you're lucky enough to find one. So, grab your magnifying glass, and let's dive into the world of the 1999 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel. So you've probably got a bunch of 1999 Jefferson nickels floating around in your pocket change, right? You probably don't even give them a second thought. Well, here's the kicker. There's this super rare, super valuable version of the 1999 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, and it's worth a crazy amount of money, like $1 million. No joke. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world did a nickel that's supposed to be worth 5 cents turn into $1 million coin? Let me break it down. First off, this isn't just any 1999 D nickel. It's a misstrike. Some of these coins were minted with a mistake, a flaw in the way the coin was stamped, which created an extra image of Jefferson's face, or it was missing some detail completely. Now, that's a mistake most people would miss, but for those in the know, these misstrikes are the holy grail. A perfect storm of rarity, uniqueness, and collector demand. So, what makes this so valuable? Well, errors in coins are super rare. I mean, you don't exactly find a misstruck nickel every day. And when that error is something as dramatic as a double image or missing details, it becomes a highly sought-after piece of numismatic history. People are out here paying millions for the rarest of rare coins, and this 1999 D nickel is one of those "you can't believe it's happening" finds. You're basically holding a golden ticket to coin collector heaven. Here's a fun little personal story for you. I remember finding a coin with a slight misprint a few years ago. It wasn't anything close to $1 million coin, but I was still pumped because it was worth way more than the face value. I didn't realize what I had at first, but when I saw it listed online for hundreds of dollars, I felt like a coin-flipping genius. But imagine finding something that's worth $1 million. I'd probably be buying a yacht. And then a better yacht. But I digress. So, how do you know if you've got one of these gems? Well, start by checking the D Mint mark on your 1999 Jefferson nickel. If it's a clear, well-defined mint mark, you're probably dealing with a standard nickel. But if you notice anything unusual, like a doubled image of Jefferson's face, or any funky details, it's time to break out the magnifying glass. The more unusual it is, the more valuable it could be. I know this might sound like a long shot, but it's totally worth checking. The coin community is full of people who've struck it rich with these kinds of finds, and hey, you could be next. In fact, some 1999 D nickels with these errors have been listed for over $1 million. Wouldn't that be the greatest Christmas present ever? So, if you've got a 1999 D mint marked Jefferson nickel in your pocket or coin jar, give it a second look. You could be sitting on a gold mine. Or a nickel mine. Either way, it's worth taking the time to check for any signs of a misprint or error. You never know, this could be your ticket to financial freedom, or at least a really nice dinner. Before you go running to your couch cushions and drawers to check for hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I've got a lot more tips on rare coins and how to spot them, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. Who knows? The next $1 million coin might be closer than you think. Thanks for hanging out with me today, good luck hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey there, coin hunters. Imagine this, you're sorting through some spare change, looking for a coffee or parking meter quarter, and boom, you've got a coin worth over $1 million in your hands. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, let me tell you, it's not just a dream, it could actually happen. Today, we're diving into one of the most elusive and valuable coins out there, the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter. Yep, this little guy could change your life. So grab a seat, your loose change, and maybe a magnifying glass, because you're going to want to follow along. Alright, so what makes this quarter so special? The key lies in the date and, weirdly enough, a mistake. You see, 1965 was a wild year for quarters. The US Mint had just transitioned from silver to a copper-nickel blend, but some sneaky silver planchets, that's the fancy word for coin blanks, from 1964 made their way into the presses. This accidental mix-up gave us a rare anomaly, a 1965 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet. Now, how can you tell if your 1965 quarter is worth more than the couch it was hiding under? First, check the weight. A regular 1965 quarter will weigh about 5.67 grams, but the silver one? 6.25 grams. Yup, that tiny difference could mean big bucks. If you don't have a scale, no worries, a professional coin appraiser can weigh and verify it for you, and let's talk money. How much is this bad boy worth? Well, the last time one of these rare quarters showed up at auction, it sold for over $1 million. That's right, folks, one single quarter could buy you a mansion, a yacht, and probably enough quarters for a lifetime of laundry. The best part? People are still finding these in old collections, at estate sales, and yes, even in pocket change. Now, a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave, once told me about his dad's coin jar. It sat in their garage for decades. One rainy weekend, Dave decided to go through it, hoping for maybe a weak penny or two. What he found was a shiny 1965 quarter that felt different. Long story short, after a trip to a local coin shop, he found out it was silver. He didn't hit the $1 million jackpot, but he sold it for $8,000. Moral of the story? Check your change, people. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. So, there you have it. The 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter might just be the treasure of your dreams. Start looking through your quarters, at home, in your car, and even that weird jar of change your grandma keeps by the fridge. And hey, if you find one, don't forget to let me know in the comments. I'd love to celebrate with you. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth serious money. Who knows? The next video might help you find another hidden treasure. You're digging through your spare change, just looking for enough quarters to do laundry, and bam! You come across a coin that could be worth millions. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today, we're talking about the 1967 no mint mark Washington quarter that's been making waves in the coin collecting world. Stick around because I'll tell you why this coin is so valuable, how you can spot one, and how it could change your life forever. First off, what makes the 1967 Washington quarter so special? Well, 1967 was a weird year for coins. The U.S. Mint was still recovering from the coin shortage of the 1960s, and they decided to skip putting mint marks on quarters altogether. So technically, every 1967 quarter doesn't have a mint mark. But here's the twist, a few of these quarters were struck with errors that make them insanely valuable. Now, you might be thinking, okay, what kind of errors are we talking about here? Some of these quarters were double die errors, meaning the design was struck twice, causing a sort of blurry or doubled effect on the letters and numbers. Others have off-center strikes or even a missing clad layer, exposing the copper underneath. These little quirks are what drive collectors absolutely wild, but how valuable are we talking here? Well, hold on to your coffee because some of these error coins have been auctioned off for hundreds of thousands, even $1 million. That's right, a single quarter that's worth more than your house. Just last year, one of these rare 1967 error quarters sold for over $1.2 million at an auction. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, was cleaning out his car one weekend, you know, the kind of deep clean you do once every 5 years when you've got nothing better to do. Anyway, he's pulling coins out from under the seat, covered in crumbs and who knows what else, when he spots this old, tarnished quarter. Turns out, it was a 1967 with a pretty obvious double die error. He took it to a coin dealer, and guess what? That quarter ended up paying for his vacation to Hawaii. True story. Now, I'm not saying you're guaranteed to find one of these bad boys just lying around, but it's definitely worth checking. Here's what you should look for. First, inspect the coin for any doubling on the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." You'll also want to check the date. If the coin looks a little off, like it's missing part of the design or the edges are weirdly thick or thin, you might have something special. And if you're not sure, take it to a professional coin grader. They'll be able to tell you if you've struck gold, or in this case, silver. So there you have it, the 1967 no mint mark Washington quarter could be your ticket to a serious payday. The next time you're about to dump your change into a vending machine, take a second to check those quarters. Who knows? You might be sitting on $1 million jackpot. That's right, I'm talking about the humble 1981 P Washington quarter. Believe it or not, some of these coins could be worth a small fortune, even up to millions of dollars in the current market. Sounds crazy, right? Stick around because we're diving into what makes these quarters so valuable, how to spot one, and why you shouldn't overlook that loose change sitting in your car's cup holder. Spoiler alert, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a quarter the same way again. Let me start by saying this. 1981 wasn't just the year MTV launched or when Raiders of the Lost Ark hit theaters. It was also the year the Philadelphia Mint pumped out over 600 million Washington quarters. So, you're probably wondering, how can something so common be worth millions? Well, it's all about rarity, condition, and errors. First, let's talk about errors. Some 1981 P quarters have minting mistakes like double dies or off-center strikes. These quirky imperfections turn a regular coin into a collector's dream. Imagine finding a double die quarter in your change. That's like spotting Bigfoot at a coffee shop, super rare and super cool. Next, condition is king. Coins graded as MS-65 or higher by professional grading companies, like PCGS or NGC, can fetch big bucks. Why? Because collectors want the cream of the crop, the no wrinkles, flawless complexion of coins. So, if you've got a shiny 1981 P quarter that looks like it just rolled off the mint's conveyor belt, you might be sitting on a goldmine. Now, here's a personal story for you. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, poking around for treasures, as I do. I came across a dusty jar of coins labeled 50 cents each. Guess what I found? A 1981 P quarter that turned out to have an off-center strike. It wasn't in mint condition, but I still sold it for $200. Not bad for a 50-cent investment, right? That's when I realized, coin hunting isn't just a hobby, it's a way to make some serious cash. So, how do you know if you've struck it rich? First, grab a magnifying glass and inspect your quarter. Look for those mint errors. Then, check out the condition. If it's looking pristine, it's time to send it off for grading. Trust me, it's worth the effort. Some collectors are willing to pay eye-popping sums for the right coin. Alright, folks, here's the takeaway. That change jingling in your pocket could be more than just lunch money. The 1981 P Washington quarter might just be your ticket to a big payday. So, start checking your coins, do your research, and who knows? You might be the next lucky person to cash in on this hidden treasure. You come across a 1983 P Washington quarter. Now, you're thinking, it's just a quarter, right? Wrong. This little coin could actually be worth a fortune. We're talking upwards of $1 million. Yup, that's right. That's a down payment on your dream house, a luxury car, or heck, even early retirement. So, stick around, because today we're diving into the juicy details of why this coin is so valuable and how you could be holding a goldmine in your pocket change. The 1983 P Washington quarter doesn't look all that special at first glance. It's just your average, run-of-the-mill, 25-cent piece, right? Wrong again. What makes this coin so extraordinary is its rarity in pristine condition. You see, back in 1983, people weren't exactly hoarding quarters like we hoard toilet paper during a pandemic. Most of them were heavily circulated, meaning they got scratched, dinged, and worn out. Finding one in mint condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Here's where it gets wild. A 1983 P quarter graded MS 67 plus, that's mint state, for those of you new to the lingo, sold at auction for over $40,000. And there's talk that the market value for one graded even higher could hit $1 million. Why? Because coin collectors are willing to pay big money for something rare and perfect. It's like the holy grail for quarter enthusiasts. Now, here's a little story for you. A friend of mine, let's call him Mike, was cleaning out his junk drawer last summer. He's the kind of guy who saves everything, old receipts, expired coupons, even a piece of gum from 1997, don't ask. Anyway, he stumbles upon a 1983 quarter. At first, he's like, oh cool, free soda money. But then he remembers hearing about rare coins from a YouTube video, shout out to yours truly. He checks it out, gets it graded, and guess what? It's worth over $10,000. True story. And no, he didn't share any of it with me, but that's another story. So, how do you know if your 1983 P quarter is worth something? First, check the mint mark. It'll be a tiny P on the front, right near Washington's ponytail. Next, look at the condition. The fewer scratches and dings, the better. Finally, consider getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. It might cost a little upfront, but it could make the difference between pocket change and life-changing money. Now, if you're thinking, I don't have a 1983 quarter, don't sweat it. Coins like these are still out there, hiding in plain sight. Check your change, ask grandma if you can raid her coin jar, or even hit up local flea markets. You never know what you might find. So there you have it, folks. That little 1983 P Washington quarter in your pocket could be your ticket to the Millionaires Club. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who likes the thrill of a treasure hunt, it's time to start checking your change with eagle eyes. If you found this video helpful, or at least mildly entertaining, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could put some serious cash in your wallet. And hey, leave a comment if you've got a rare coin story of your own, I'd love to hear it. If you're holding on to a 1995 D Washington quarter, you might just be sitting on a literal gold mine. No, seriously. I'm talking about a coin that could fetch $1 million on the right day. You heard that right, $1 million. You probably think I'm exaggerating, right? But trust me, stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin could be worth far more than just 25 cents, but before we dive into all the details, let me share a little story. You ever find something random in your couch cushions? Maybe a penny, a gum wrapper, or a quarter. Well, a few months ago, I was cleaning up my office and found a whole bunch of old coins stuffed in a drawer. I figured they were just some boring old quarters, but then, boom, one of them was a 1995 D. Guess what? It wasn't the $1 million one, but it sure made me do a double take. I'm here to save you the trouble of going through hundreds of quarters just to find the one that could make you a fortune. Let's dive in. Alright, let's talk about the 1995 D Washington quarter. You're probably wondering, what makes this coin so special? Well, it's all about something you wouldn't expect, an error. And no, I'm not talking about the mint getting tired and accidentally putting a 2000 coin in a 1995 batch, because that'd be a total rookie move. This coin has a specific error that's so rare it can send collectors into a frenzy. See, in 1995, the mint accidentally produced a small batch of Washington quarters that had a serious misstrike. The result? Some of these quarters are missing a little bit of detail, mainly in the date or parts of Washington's face, creating a double die or other minting anomalies. These coins are incredibly sought after by collectors, especially ones who really know what they're looking for. We're talking about a coin that's usually worth a couple bucks on a good day, but if you find the right error, we're talking about a cool million. Now, I know what you're thinking. But how do I know if my 1995 D is worth $1 million? Great question. First, you want to look closely at the coin's features. Does the date look a little off? Are the letters on Washington's face double printed? Check the mint mark for any funny business. The key is finding one of these rare error coins that stands out from the rest. You can even grab a magnifying glass or take a photo with your phone and zoom in. Trust me, it's worth it to investigate. Now, to help you on your hunt, here's what I always do when I'm checking my coins. I take a quarter, hold it in my hand, and start looking closely. You start examining the edges, the ridges, the details. It's almost like a treasure hunt, and I swear, the adrenaline rush you get when you think you found something valuable is real. One time, I thought I had found an error coin. Turns out it was just a penny stuck in a quarter machine, but hey, I didn't let that stop me from hunting the next day. Let's get serious, though. Even if you don't have the $1 million error coin in your collection, the 1995 D Washington quarter still holds some value. If it's in good condition, it could be worth a bit more than face value. And if you're lucky enough to have one of those rare errors, you could end up with a pretty hefty payout. All it takes is a little bit of patience, a little research, and a little bit of luck. So, before you toss that pocket change or put your quarters in a jar, remember this: you could be sitting on a small fortune. The 1995 D Washington quarter isn't just another coin in your collection, it could be the jackpot you've been waiting for. Just keep your eyes peeled, do your research, and maybe, just maybe, you'll stumble across that $1 million error. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on any future tips that could put some serious cash in your pocket. And let me know in the comments if you've ever found a coin you thought might be worth a fortune, or if you just found a weird error like I did with that penny in the machine. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting.